If you're upset about the season, you weren't paying attention. Ah, let's. That over there, like no, not like that, like this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Woo! Imitated, never duplicated. And that fool with no hair that shouts like Rick. Woo! The Raider Bear. Woo! A Raider. Trying to get my shirt right so you guys could read it. And I am not Grinch-y. I love Christmas. I do. It's just when you read a shirt that's super funny and just stops you in your tracks, I gotta own that. Hitting my girly stars bell. Okay, that's a little better. Dads with good daughters always get them the dad cup. 100% awesome. I know. My daughter. She's adorable. Alexa, stop. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in to Raider Bear family page. I am live simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook. And if you join me, I appreciate it. And Happy New Year to all of you. But like we always do on this show, I will say first and foremost, Tradish! Raider Bear Live first comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to Carlos Magana. Carlos, if I'm saying your last name wrong, just deal with it. I couldn't decide if it was Mana or Megana. I wasn't sure. Second place, my silver medal, Tony Make It Dip. You got to be a DJ, man. You know, I've said it to you many times. You can't have a name like that and not just go, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Tony Make Him Dip. Because, you know, when you dance, you know, you can dip, you know what I mean? So if he's a DJ and Tony Make Him Dip, you know, yeah, he loves it. He won't say it. He won't admit it in public, but it's true. Third place, my broad medal. And you guys know I love it when a Raiderette slides into the sausage fest. That is my medal round and takes one from the dudes. Karina! Woo! True. Hello! Sup, girl? All right. Now we can get to it because I'm seeing a lot of familiar names and a lot of familiar people who have comments that I always enjoy, like Marcus Atchison. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Michael Purifoy. Bear! Appreciate that, man. Corinna Trujillo, always there. One of my brothers tonight. Nicholas Maida, always there, looking out for a Raider Bear. Jake Scott, hey, no, Jake, no, I was not late. Don't be ridiculous. I still can't believe we got eliminated by the Colts yesterday. We were almost close from Armand Guzman. You know, I'm going to take yours first. Armando, excuse me. Oh, your picture's cool. I love the Day of the Dead. That's dude with the sombrero. That's dope. Okay. So I still can't believe we got eliminated by the Colts yesterday. I was shocked by it too. We were pretty close there at the end. Now that's true. We did cut the divide. We were kind of catching up to them, but hold on. Someone said I'm fuzzy. Let me make sure I've got a clean surface because my camera sometimes gets bumped. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that fixes that a little bit. And then let's see about the bada bing. Get this high HD. Oh, wait a minute. That looked like it made it worse. Okay. Okay. Oh, no one else is allowed to comment about the fuzzy screen or not. Only Nicholas Maida. That way I know it's working or not working. Because I always get someone, it's not working. No, it looks perfect now. Wait a minute, it's a little fuzzy in the corner. Oh, no, but it's crispy over here. Mark Murray. Happy New Year, Mark. Welcome to the show. Austin De Leon, what's up? Raider Johnny Espinoza, my little brother in the house. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Oh, shut up about Michigan. I don't care about the Wolverines. Carlos Magana, you should watch me on both, but primarily YouTube. I'm trying to build my YouTube presence, so to speak. So if anyone and everyone would please share your Raider Bear, I'd really appreciate it. And consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. Now on Facebook, it's just $5 a month and you can cancel at any time. And we are working with charities all over the world. The list runs really long. I'll do a show. I have to decide how I'm going to do that. Maybe like every Friday, I'll tell you guys about like everyone we've been working with, like UNICEF and all that stuff, Red Cross, because it eats up too much of the show if I sit here and do that. And I don't like doing that. I want to talk about football. So we'll talk about football, but on Fridays, maybe in the beginning of the show or toward the end, we'll try to work out. And I'll let you guys know what we're working with because we are working with a lot right now. LEW, if Harbaugh wins the Natty, you think he leaves Michigan? Eli, great question. I think there's no doubt about him leaving. Harbaugh is one of those guys that from year 4 to year 5 of any kind of contract, whether it's the pros or the NCAAs, he starts to wear out his welcome, and he knows it. He grates on people. Now, the problem with that, though, is that he can't be different. If he's different, he won't have the success he's had. So he has to be really, gruff, wear those khaki pants that in only one color that he ever wears, and then just push. You know what I mean? The momentum and the seriousness of always winning, always being about football, concentrate on football, go. We can make adjustments to this and that, and da da da. His mind works a mile a minute, and he's a nice guy when you meet him in person. He'll win you over, but he wears on people. That's all I can tell you that I know absolutely certain about him is that it goes from the owner or the head coach or the chancellor of the school, whatever the case may be. He rots from the top down and then eventually goes in the locker room and then eventually he leaves for a job. Eric Peterson said AP for coach and bring in a quality OC. The problem with that, Eric Peterson, welcome to the show, is that most really good OCs want to be head coaches. So, for example, why would the guy with the Lions, who I happen to think is one of the hotter names right now, whose name I keep forgetting. It's sad, but I do. Every time I go to the show, I'm like, oh, I forgot. And I mean to like write his name in the notes or something in front of me, but I forgot to. It's my bad. But you guys, I'm sure one of you knows that. You can put it in the comments and I'll bring it up again. But the offensive coordinator for the Lions is hot. But see, he's hot in the sense that he wants a shot at being a coach. You know what I mean? So one of these teams, like, for example, the Washington Commanders, they're going to have a spot open. Maybe he goes there. Christian Urena, what's up? Welcome to the show. Mata family in the house. Man, I got Raider Johnny Espinoza. I got Jimmy Mata. Got all kinds of family in the house. Robert Cortez. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Okay, Michael Purifoy. I'm reading that Jim Harbaugh has hired Tom Brady's NFL agent, Don Yee. True? Okay, first, Michael Purifoy. I heard that too, but I want to make a point and then answer your question. Oh, no, wait a minute. I want to answer your question and make an important point. Okay, first, yes, it is true. Second, it's irrelevant. What difference does it make? What if another guy who's used to be in the NFL hires Brady's, agent? Isn't that just because they think he's a good agent? It doesn't necessarily build this bridge from Harbaugh to the Raiders simply because Tom Brady's talking to him. And remember, he's still technically not only just a minority owner, but they're still, finishing the paperwork on him even being a minority owner. And so I don't know how that goes. I don't know if Mark Davis has him out recruiting, so to speak. Maybe, I don't know. But you can't ignore evidence. If breadcrumbs will lead you home, and you got to look at that. This looks like breadcrumbs. Tom Brady's agent, he's in photos talking to him recently. That look like you're massaging him by Tom Brady over toward the Raiders. But honestly, I just think it's a bad idea. I just think it's a bad idea, period. I think we'd be hiring a Hollywood coach, a guy who's known by his name as much as his record, and bring him in. And it'll be for a few years, and we'll get frustrated, and then we'll let him go. I've seen this show already. Mark Murray, how do you feel about the refs this year, especially the Lions-Cowboys game? Mark Murray, it's starting to reinforce the argument of those who think the NFL is rigged. Now, I've already made a case in defense of this once before. Bob Standard, bear! But no, I didn't watch the Rose Bowl. The refereeing disparity is starting to get a little too obvious. You know what I mean? There's just too many cameras and people who understand football. Okay, this generation right now that's coming up, not so much. But the generation just before it, guys like you and I, women like you and I, our age, roughly 30 to 50-ish, you know what I mean? You understand that the NFL does rig, look at me, does rig the NFL to a certain extent. They do. You have to remember the NFL technically, even though it's huge now and it's a part of our lifestyle, it's a circus. It's a muscle circus about a sport we play when we're in high school. You know what I mean? It's not really that far removed from it. Sure, there's better athletes and all that stuff, but it's still just basically make plays, execute plays, try to score touchdowns, have a defense that stops touchdowns, you win games, period. And so, how do I say this? So the refs, in my opinion, did not fix that game, but it looked fishy because the lineman went to him and checked in. Then the lineman ran and lined up. Then suddenly after the play is done and there's a touchdown, they say, well, he didn't declare. Well, what the hell else could he have been doing? Standing 10 yards away from the line, talking to a referee prior to the play. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't need audio. I don't need to be able to hear it. Any of us that know football know that there is absolutely zero reason for a referee just seconds prior to a play getting ready to start for that guy to be 5-10 yards over here to the left of the play talking to a referee and trying to convince, hey, checking in. And then the ref says he didn't, or the wrong guy declared himself eligible. No, the right guy declared himself eligible and the referee made a mistake. And so to cover the mistake, you follow through and say, well, he didn't report. See, I think the referee just saw 70 and thought it was 70, when in reality it was 68. So when 68 caught the ball, the ref threw the flag, thinking, well, 70 is the one that checked in. But the ref wasn't listening. He just turned. You can see it on the video. There's no audio, but you can see it on the video. He's kind of going like, and the two linemen come over to him, and he just looks, and he looks at 7, and he goes, okay, starts to check off his thing again, and then the two guys run off. But now when I say there's certain rigging, do you guys want to see the Cardinals play the Bengals? I'm just being honest. I'm just saying, be honest. Do you want to see that? The Cardinals and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. The Cardinals and the Bengals don't want to see that. They wouldn't want to see them. You know what I mean? Do you want to see the Seahawks and the Falcons? No, you don't. If they have some free year and somehow are suddenly able to get into the Super Bowl, you're not going to want to see that. You know it. I know it. They know it. And so I don't think there should be that much rigging to it, but I think it's more to do with scheduling. You make it a little hard on some of the bad teams like the Jaguars and so on. Prove it schedules. Okay, Travis Kelly's got a good one here. Hey, Bear, with the NFPA, the National Football Players Association, stepping in now and sanctioning the Broncos with possible legal action regarding the Russell Wilson benching, do you think Sean Payton starts him now against us instead of Stidham? Okay, first off, great question, Travis, but I would say this to you. I do not think they'll back off of what they did. I think they are going to go ahead and sit down Russell Wilson for this last game and this one. And more importantly, I think they'll argue that the Raiders didn't get this treatment when we did this to Derek Carr. The National Players Association didn't come forward for Derek Carr. And if they didn't come forward for Carr, why are they suddenly doing it now? Goes back to my referee question, because they're recognizing their mistake. So now they're doing it. The Players Association stepping up and saying, hey, you can't do that to our quarterback, because they don't want this to become a regular practice. I think the Players Association got caught with their pants down the first time. And when the Raiders did it to Derek Carr, they all stood around with books going, is this legal? Flipping through pages, or click on this .com file if they can do that. But by the time they found out there was nothing they could do, it had been done. You know what I mean? Well, now I find this to be the same thing, only now they feel like we're going to react to this differently. Now we're going to handle this in the manner of, okay, we can't have the teams doing this to our players where they're losing paychecks, losing game checks, and not only that, losing the potential of getting that injury clause. It's illegal to do this. How can you make something a part of a contract and then purposely, knowingly, and you say out loud that we're doing this because we don't want to, enact his injury policy if he goes out there and gets hurt? Well, then that's your problem. He's supposed to be out there. He's a player. He's starter. He's the man. Just suddenly benching him in the last 2 games, you can't say you just did that because you thought that was better for the team. You know, no, it's because you don't want him to be out there for any reason that could possibly end up turning into him getting an extra $40 million. Well, that's your fault. Don't agree with those terms. You know what I mean? By the way, as far as terms are concerned, you should hear about what Derek Carr is doing to the Saints right now, man. I'm not going to go into it. He's old news. You guys know what I mean. But I'm only giving myself that pat on the back because everybody was so concerned when he first left that he was going to show up over there and win the Super Bowl or something. I'm like, dude, he's Derek Carr. He's going to go over there and be the exact same thing he's always been. Derek Carr. He's been exactly that. Stephen Shaw, what's up? Welcome to the show. I just don't like the fact that it seems like Mark Davis is going to lean on Tom Brady when it comes to the coaching search. Mark just said, now, I don't love that, but at the same time, I would rather him lean on someone who knows football than for him to keep making the decisions, because he's making the decisions and we're seeing disasters. Okay, after disaster, after disaster. Okay, he went after John Gruden. That was a big mistake. I don't care who you are. If you're a Raider fan and you love John Gruden, continue to love John Gruden. I'm not telling you not to. I'm not saying the fact that you love John Gruden is dumb or anything like that. All I'm saying is that there's no way Mark Davis really could have known about those emails and everything. So he just stepped on a landmine. And what is it that's bad about landmines? You can't see them. Okay, now in that instance, he hit a landmine. Okay, now with the Josh McDaniels thing, there was clear warnings. That was not a landing line. That was a missile coming toward you. And well, if it's bad, we can get it out of the way right out of the last second. That's actual sound from Mark Davis. Put foots at him. I'll never get past it. I'll never get past it. Okay, if you want me to support Mark Davis, don't hold your breath. But as far as Tom Brady does understand football, and he understands it, and how do I say this? He studies the game as well or better than anyone that's ever played. He was calling the plays when they were in New England. He was doing it. He was orchestrating the plays and how the play would go down the field with other teams. He was doing Belichick's job and McDaniel's job. And those of you who know how much I hate Tom Brady, it still tastes funny coming out of my mouth every once in a while saying his name. I apologize. Troy Gill, I appreciate you tuning in from YouTube. Much love to you, brother. Make sure you share. But he, at the whole time, in my opinion, that he was with England, maybe it was like year 3 or year 4. By that point, in that same offense, he already knew it backwards and forwards, and then would go home and study other teams and their defenses and how they react to those same plays. And then he would go back out there and make adjustments himself. It wasn't even McDaniels doing that. McDaniels was just doing, play design. But how that play design would affect defenses, then going home after the game, studying them so that in 4 weeks when you play them again, come here, I know what you're going to do when you do this. I'm going to hit you with this, and boom, touchdown. You see what I mean? He's a tactician. He really is. I hate saying it, but he is. And if he recommends someone and it's his belief that someone might be, good for us, maybe he's right. Maybe he knows more than I do. I don't know. But if it's Harbaugh, I think he's wrong. Sean Paul Doney, what's up? Welcome to the show. Jim Vanderlyn, Bear. I hope they give AP at least a year. Nicholas Maida, I'd like to see them give him a 3-year contract. You know what I mean? Because in reality, that's only 2. So you would be giving him those first 2 years, and then you could axe him if it wasn't working. Now, personally, for those of you who like AP a lot, and I like him a lot, the only reason I differentiate from a lot of my viewers who say, no, give him a 4-year deal, give him a 7-year deal, show him respect. He doesn't have the experience to justify that. You know what I mean? He just doesn't. You know what I mean? It's not that he doesn't know football. He looks like he does know football. I think that those freakish up, down games were just cause and effect of, new coaches in the offensive coordinator, the head coach, and then technically your quarterback. You know what I mean? Those 3 guys trying to orchestrate things and get it right. Then you got Antonio putting his hands in the defense to help, improve that, which he did by just simply saying, stop playing guys in and out so much. Give guys a chance, like Malcolm Kuntz. Give the guy snaps, and we saw what could be a flourishing star there for us next year. A guy that can really help Max get in there and eat. So I hope they give him a chance, but I'm starting to think they're not going to. At first I had AP winning the job for sure. And then I reached out to some people to find out, and they told me he's going to get the job. And I said, but one last question. I said, but does that mean though, if he's guaranteeing he's getting the job after the Charger game, doesn't mean that he could lose the job, for example, if they were to lose the next 2 or 3? And he said, yeah. And so, sorry, I got a little, not distracted. I got a little burn when I was in the kitchen by the oven. Top of my arm caught the top of it. It was like 400 something degrees, and I grabbed a pan and just got me good. Happy New Year, Bear, and safe and blessed year. I appreciate that, Troy. Much love to you. Carlos Magana, bang, bang, bang. It's R8RBEAR Bear. No, don't do that. Hi, Tommy. What's up, little buddy? What about the Dolphins OC? Because he may want a quarter spot to prove himself, because everyone knows it's McDaniels in Miami. He could be a great guy along a defensive-minded coach like AP. Jake Scott, I love your profile picture. She's beautiful. And I would say to you with your question, I like that one. I like that logic, because remember, it was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs who immediately wanted to have a job. He circled around the NFL for a year, didn't get a job, and then immediately says, hey, if you want me to go over here and be the OC of the Washington, whatever they're calling themselves, put foots in them. Okay, just stop it. I'm putting both foots into Washington. They can't get it right. The Commanders. Why didn't you just say the Masters? Or the Yard Masters? That's even better. Washington Yard Masters. But just like that guy went there to Washington to rehab his image, because everyone thought that the offense he was running was Andy Reid's offense, and he was just a puppet standing there, using the microphone and moving plays go where. Especially now when you saw this last year, right now, Andy Reid is, holding the play card and calling a lot of plays. Well, that was because dude left. See, so that's a causal effect. That should tell you that when Romeo Crennel, that's his name, I believe, when Romeo left, it drastically affected the amount of work that went on Andy Reid. And I think it's why the Chiefs have struggled. I really do. Now, the OC with Miami is a good idea, though, because I know he would want the same thing. He wants to get away from that Daniels kid who, everyone thinks he just brought that Shanahan version, his version of the Shanahan offense to Miami. So, yeah, I get your logic totally. I don't want to see the Fairy Niners or Brokeback Val girls. Actually, yes, you do, because we want to see anything but the Chiefs. Because if the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, even if they don't win it, I do not want to even see the Chiefs in our stadium unless it's us whipping that woo candy ass. But if two teams get there that we don't know or that aren't the Chiefs, I don't care. I'm good with it. I wouldn't care if somehow the Broncos. I don't care if even the Broncos and the Chargers somehow found a way to win the Super Bowl. I'd beat that. No Mahomes. Jesse Parker, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Appreciate the love, Travis Kelly. I really do. Jesse Parker reminds you, if you care, you share your Raider Bear and consider a subscription to Raider Bear family page. It's just $5 a month. You can cancel at any time, but we're going to be doing a lot of things in this new year. We're trying to adapt Raider Bear family page a little bit. It's always meant to benefit our supporters who we give free shirts to, and we're going to be setting out patches and a lot of other things with our auctions now when we do gifts out, etc., etc. I still have some really cool stuff here that I haven't even had a chance to put out there and show you guys for auction, the cool things that I have that aren't like crazy expensive. So, you could outbid somebody, just spend 30, 40 bucks and you're going to get that. But in addition to that, we're going to send you patches and stickers and, all sorts of cool stuff. There's going to be some cool stuff in there. We just don't want to say. We want people to just get it first. You know what I mean? But we're going to have cool stuff in there. There's going to be stuff that's like a Charles Woodson card, for when he was a rookie and things like that. Okay, well, the season is over for us, but I'm glad we kicked the Chiefs in the butts with AP leading. We beat the Chiefs! Jimmy Vada, please excuse me, audience. I forgot to start my show with that. That is the new thing for me, starting the show with that. I am no longer in Facebook jail, by the way. And that's another reason why I'm a little bit distracted tonight, because I'm in a great mood because I'm no longer in Facebook jail. And everyone keeps saying, what did you do to get in Facebook jail? I didn't do anything bad, okay? I didn't do anything wrong. Why do those guys on Jail and the TV show Jail and Cops, they just shout that over and over again? It's the weirdest thing. Every time someone gets in trouble with the cops, they just immediately, I didn't do anything wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, God, can't you just say I didn't break the law? Say anything else. Just don't say that. Now, since I bought your new bling bear, champ, I'm going to match it with your first medallion. Ah, Bob, looking good. You got to take a picture of that for me, Okay, got to put you up on Mount Rushmore of bear stuff. Steeler Val, no, this is Tommy and the family. Okay. Happy New Year to Mr. and Mrs. Raider Bear and all our Raider family. Appreciate that, Tommy. And Doc Raider and Val. Mwah. John the Leon, Eric Bieniemy, our OC AP, our head coach. Okay, I appreciate that. Now, that I could see, but I don't know. Is Eric Bieniemy going to come from Washington after leaving the Chiefs? He wants someone to give him the damn job already. You know what I mean? Although, now that you say it, now I have a moment to think about it. That's not that bad, because if AP then flounders, you have Eric Bieniemy right there. I'm sure you already thought that out, but yeah, I see your logic there. Michael Conti said, no. Michael Conti, I appreciate that insight. Oh, Jim Barron got me on both. He got me on both. Erman Jr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mark Tomlinson said, Happy New Year, Raider Bear, brother and mama bear, sister, and all your family over in the I don't know what that says. I hope you all had a great one. It's our summer time out here, your winter time. Stay safe over there in the LR, Las Vegas. Much Roja from a diehard Raider Nation 100% fan out here in Christchurch, South Island. Oh, wow. Okay, come on, man. He was probably laughing at me, waiting for me to get to that and knowing I would just fall over my face. I just did very badly. Okay, I'm going to give it another try. Okay, Raider Nation fan 100% out here in Christchurch, South Island, Otoyo. I gave it a go, brother. In other words, give him a chance. There are OCs out there that got passed up for coaching jobs not too long ago that would love another chance in the league to prove themselves. That I think would jump a chance at. Okay. Byron Leftwich and Pep Hamilton come to mind. Oh, that's a great comment. Look at you over here, Marcus Atchison. Yes. Byron Leftwich, especially because, he's done a lot. You know what I mean? He's done a lot. He won a ring. He was willing to, to a certain extent, allow Tom Brady to design the offense almost entirely, which makes a lot of sense. Anyone who's watching this, you would normally think that a white man quarterback with his black OC is somehow deferring to him because he's the boss. There's no racial, thing here. It's just plain and simply Byron Leftwich was smart enough to know, no matter what his color was, that this guy's too old to learn a new offense. If you start trying to make him learn all these new things, you ain't going to win. If you come in and say, hey, this is what I run. I like this play, this play, this play. And I like to call it this so that I remember this. And then we got to do this. You work with that guy when he comes into your building with 8 or 9 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Or whatever the ridiculous number is that he finished with. Raider Bear discussed this when AP was first named the coach. If he had done well, I fully supported him getting the full job. And if he didn't, then no. I can't say he did a bad job, and he's definitely has the locker room. But the question is, did he do a good enough job to justify giving him the permanent coaching position? First, this is as complicated a situation as I've ever seen. In other words, he has done enough to win the job, but he also hasn't done enough to justify Mark Davis giving him that much love and saying, here it is. I think you can do it. Go get it. Because then Mark Davis looks like a boob. He's now picked a third coach that doesn't pan out. Do you see what I'm saying? Or the league is going to call him a laughing stock again. You hired that guy when you could have hired this guy and this guy and this guy who have X amount of years more experience than your guy that you picked. You know what I mean? If you're going to do that, AP needed to win out or close. You know what I mean? Had he won out leading up to the Colts game, don't lose any games, get to the Colts get us out. Then we could talk. But he didn't do that. And if anything, it was an erratic that he couldn't get under control. We had a 0 points game, then a 65-point game. I mean, that's just not, it doesn't make sense. If you look at it, football teams don't do that. Don't put up 0 points and then suddenly put up 65. Something weird was going on. I don't know what it was. I'm not calling conspiracy or anything like that. I'm just saying, that's part of the head coach's job is for that not to happen. You know what I mean? And there's a million things he could have done in that game against the Vikings where we scored no points, where we should have gotten at least a field goal, maybe 2. You got to get on the board. Even the Vikings, who stunk like Holger, on a Sunday with a pig swimming in it. I don't know where I got that from. But they got a field goal up there. That's all they managed was a field goal. And we couldn't beat that. And you're at midpoint of the year. He already had the job. I just didn't like that at all. I just didn't like it. And we all got excited about the next game he redeems himself. But then after that, it's kind of, with the Chiefs. And I don't know. Tough one. I honestly feel like part of why the Chiefs lost to us was our defense, but it was also bad procedure, miscommunications, and things like that the Chiefs don't normally have because of our pressure. So we caused that win, but in reality, when they said they gave us one, the reason they really believed that the Chiefs players felt they gave us a win, the reason they really believed that was because they just weren't able to execute. When you aren't able to execute, even if that's a result of the defense, they think it was them. Well, we couldn't execute. We got our timing all off. Yeah, that's because we were getting in your chest, slowing down your routes. Yeah. Double, teaming sometimes in your slant patterns. Yeah. That was us, not you, Chiefy. Glenn Medina, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Our biggest need is whatever we can do on defense. I refuse to get wrapped up in this quarterback thing. If you want to go after these other guys and whoever else, that's fine. But we're not going to be in the top 10. I believe right now we're ranked somewhere around 11th to 13th pick in the first round. If you're not in the 10, you're not going to get it. Now, if we give up that 13 and maybe a second rounder in 2024, then maybe you vault up, but vault up to where? You're not going to get number 1. You might number 2, number 3, but I don't know. I don't think you're going to get Caleb, though. And that would be the reason you do it. You know what I mean? Look what happened the last time. We jumped up, we made moves, and then we got Tyree Wilson. You know, how's that feeling you? And it's early. You know, he's a rookie. His season's over. Now we get to see more of him next year. But I can tell you honestly, and it sounds funny to say this, but the resurgence of the defense at that mid to late point of the year, that was right when Tyree Wilson was moved from right defensive end edge rusher to right defensive tackle. When he was moved inside and then they put Malcolm Kuntz on his shoulder, everything changed. Our defense got better. Our pressures were more. We were breaking down offensive lines right to the end of the season. It was hard getting through the Colts. I have to give them credit. No, Wilts, don't do that. No, don't do. Tell me something good. All right, see, now that was pretty good. I can't sing that one pretty good. How do you see our last game getting played? I think we're going to destroy the Broncos. We're going to take Garrett Stidham and bend him over our knee and spanky him a good one. But the reason we're going to do that is because they're going to try to save AP's opportunity to get this job. And if you beat a Bronco team bad, that's respectable. Not 65. They're not going to do that. But if they put up 40, AP would, be able to make a serious argument for why he should stay. Because one, to put up 40 against any team is impressive. But to do it against a division rival, I don't care if they sent Russell Wilson home. Okay? Every other player on that team, including whoever they sub in at QB, is wearing Bronco orange and hates Raider black and silver. So it's always a rivalry. And it's the end game. So you're going to pull harder. You're going to go after a little harder, most of those players. Because they're not going to the pro or anything else. That's the end of their season. Great game, but I think we're going to put it on the Broncos. Now, honestly, I didn't think we were going to do that to the Colts. I thought we were going to beat the Colts. I thought the score would be something like 23-17. And, I was close, 23-20. Yeah, but I don't think this one's going to be that way. I think this one's we're going to score. They're going to score. We're going to score. It's going to be a battle. Bob Standard said Niners versus Ravens. I honestly hope so, because Niners will lose again, and they'll lose bad. Because if it's Niners Ravens, the Niners will lose bad. They'll lose bad. See, the difference between the Ravens and their coach John Harbaugh and Kyle Shanahan of the Niners is that John Harbaugh makes adjustments, and he sees you coming, and he makes those adjustments in the first quarter. See, he knows how to run things. He'll see it just like a head coach in the NFL sees it. But the difference between him and those other coaches is that he will make adjustments to his defense to right away, very early on in the game. Try to think of it. You only get this on R8RBEAR family page. Just remember I said that. It's very similar to Andy Reid in what he does on offense. Andy Reid will use his offense early in the game to show another team, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide this guy here. Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide this guy over here. And then we're going to run the ball that way, okay? And then in the second quarter, they go, hey, look, we're going to run it. We're going to go like this. We're going to go like this. And then suddenly when they go to run the ball, it's play action and they throw to the other side. See, that's what John Harbaugh does with his defense. That's the difference. See, Kyle Shanahan is an offensive coordinator. When an offensive coordinator that's brilliant goes up against a defensive coordinator that's brilliant, the defensive coordinator usually wins. Now, why is that? If the offense is number one, why doesn't the offense that's number one sometimes beat the defense that's number one? It does sometimes. This is not a perfect solution. But the rule is, the hard and fast rule, in my opinion, is the defense wins more often than not. I would say 8 out of 10, because the defense doesn't have to be precise. They don't have to know exactly where the opponent's going. They just have to scheme the play and then try to be there in the completion of it, like they saw it on video, if it is in fact the same call. And usually it is. But the offense has to get their timing right. They have to find, the offensive line has to get good blocks. If on that particular play, one of the defensive linemen gets through, then the play's broken up, whether the defensive adjustment was there or not. So there's more variables that the offense has to get right than the defense. So to me, you think defense. Niners, good defense. Ravens, good defense. Niners, good offense. Ravens, good offense, but also explosive offense. I think that's one of the biggest differences. Christian McCaffrey to me is a big crybaby. I don't like anything about what he does. I think all of his stats are just fake stats put up there by Shanahan and his gadget plays that he runs from beginning to end of the game, it seems like. Bear. Charles Lloyd, what's up? Welcome to the show. Quarterback would be a lot of people like Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is tough. I just don't know. I'm not concerned with that right now. I don't think we should do that. I think we saw enough of AOC. Some people say they saw AOC to know they don't want him. I see it the opposite. I've seen enough of AOC to know that pocket passers win Super Bowls. Guys who are pocket passers but can evade pressure from left to right, not necessarily sprinting, but just movement with the offensive lineman helping you and then delivering the ball. I think that AOC reminds me a lot of Jeff Goff. All right, Jack Goff or George Goff, whatever his name is, Goff, the quarterback of the Lions. Most of you know who I'm talking about. But the quarterback of the Lions, exactly the prototype of what I'm talking about. Not a guy who likes to run a lot. He can run a little bit, but mostly he likes to slide in the pocket. If he sees the offensive line coming across this way, then he'll slide that way to help his offensive lineman then recover when the defensive player tries to come back the opposite direction. So there's a way to maneuver in the pocket, a way to see things, and then deliver the ball. I think AOC is going to be fine. I think he'd be our franchise. We just need to give him time to grow. Last year was his rookie season. You know what I mean? They have a video of Mahomes saying, just call the effing play towards the coaching staff. Yeah, John Leon, there's something going wrong with the Chiefs. There's something going wrong with the Chiefs. I don't know if it's just the offensive coordinator, if it's the loss of Tyreek Hill, or, all of the above. They lost that guy. I can't remember his name, but they lost a couple of different wide receivers. They lost a running back. So they're in a bad way. Table for two for Kevin Kahu Hano. Appreciate the love on the stars, brother. Chuck Lloyd, what's up? Welcome to the show. Bear, I love that medallion of yours. It's straight. I appreciate that, man. I've got one actually sitting right here, and I was showing them to everyone last night. They're pretty dope. I've still got a couple. I think I have two left. I have two. I got five with me last night on two. Glenn Medina, I like the idea of the O-line, but I would rather do that through free agency. If I look into the draft for things, I'm looking into the draft for guys that are going to be support pieces. And then if they show up and they have greater talent than that, then they win the job. I don't like the idea of this idea where when you get a guy in the first round, that's going to be your starter. Done. Starter. You know what I mean? Justin Fields, when he went to the Chicago Bears, there was no question. It was just, hey, it's your team. And I believe that stunted his growth. I believe that he had to kind of become a man, so to speak. A lot of hits and a lot of losing. And now he's reached a point now where if he had come into the NCAAs right now, he'd be ready to start day one. But see, that's how long it takes. Usually, most young quarterbacks. So we'll have to see with AOC, but I'd like to see them, give him a chance to finish it out. Now, as far as what I mean also is get a veteran quarterback. He does not have to start next year. We shouldn't be thinking of AOC as a starter that we let go or don't let go. He's a rookie, guys. He was thrown into the starting position out of emergency necessity and then played pretty good for us in a few of those games and played pretty bad in others. He's a rookie. So we have to be patient with him. Let him go sit down for next season. Bring in someone with greater experience. Okay. Joe Flacco. And again, people say, oh, Joe Flacco, oh my God, he's a dinosaur, blah, blah, blah. Do you see what he's doing with Cleveland? I like a good Brontosaurus burger, man. Bring it on over here. If Russell Wilson, wants to still show that Russ can cook, well, let's see it. You know what I mean? Let's see if he can do it for a year or two. Just sign a guy to it with 1 or 2 year deal and let's see if they can do it. Now, the reason I say that is because guys like that, if our defense starts playing next season like it played toward the end of this season, with an experienced quarterback, and now you're only trying to shore up play calling. Either we go with this Bo guy or we get rid of him, and whoever it's going to be, it could be nice. You could end up making a run to a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of chemistry, and then you give that coach a long-term deal after the fact. Glenn Medina, there's nothing to be sorry about. I know people that don't think that AP's the guy. I absolutely understand that. Whatever happened to Chalmers, I think his name is Chalmers. I'm not sure, William Brown. Definitely need a new OC. Yes. Better talent scouts. Well, that happens. Oh, Gabbard. You're talking about Gabbard. No, he was around. We just kept releasing him, signing him, releasing him, signing him. But he's probably somewhere. We probably could end up signing him. But to be honest with you, you're talking about Gabbard. He played for my favorite Berkeley Bears, and he was nice, but he's not a starter. It's Jim Harbaugh or bust. Nicholas Ramos. As far as my Showtime air, he didn't have the job yet. I don't think we're going to do that. I would argue with you that even Jim Harbaugh would probably turn us down right now, not because the Raiders aren't a great destination and not because we don't have a great roster. We don't have we have a kid. Even if AOC had played better and won 3 out of 4 or something like that, he's still a kid that we didn't intend to be the starter. And well into mid-year, he had next to nothing except for that one game where Josh McDaniels just threw him out there for some reason. But I think we should look for a quarterback, keep the one we have, groom AOC as a potential future guy, and get a veteran that can help us win right now. I like AOC, but not as our starting quarterback. We need to do what it takes to move up in the draft and get one of those top quarterbacks coming out. When I look at AOC, something is just missing for me. I want us for once to have one of the top quarterbacks in the league for once. Watching Lamar yesterday just showed me there's levels to this. Well said, Marcus. Now, having said that, though, you can never necessarily see that out of a college recruit. Sometimes you see it, other times you do not. More often than not, you miss. I don't think the Colts got what they thought they got in Richardson. I don't think that guy is going to be a long-term starter. I also don't know that Will Levis is going to make it with the Titans, even though he has had a couple games for them. He's also had a couple of shaky games for them too, where it just looked like he was caught in the headlights. And so we'll see with that moving forward. But a lot of this quarterback class that came out of this last season, aside from CJ Stroud, has been, at best, especially in a pick Bryce Young, he's been horrible. Okay, John Leon. Looking good, John. I like the ink work you got there. Do you see us going after Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, even Jameis Winston, just to have a veteran there for our rookies that we draft? Now, see, yes, John, I want it. That's exactly the logic we should be going after, in my opinion. You go after guys that are veterans that can win right now if we can get the right pieces to click together just right. Well, we got the defense to click. Now I say bring back AP, bring him back as the linebackers coach or assistant defensive head coach, something like that. And then with Bo Hardegree, our offensive coordinator, I'm not ready to completely bail on that guy. You guys have to understand, a lot of people didn't like his offense, and I get that. But you also didn't say anything when he was the orchestrator of one of the greatest scoring teams we've ever produced. Ever. No Raider team scored more points in a game than this one did. Think of all the years of Raiders teams we've had that were great teams that had great receivers and quarterbacks, and none of them could match what we did this year. You know what I mean? And wasn't nobody else doing that to the Chargers? Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, it was the Chargers and they gave up." Okay, well, I mean, did they give up against anyone else, or did we make them give up? Raiders! Dustin King. Do we have a Dustin King here? Dustin! Hey, appreciate the love on the stars, brother. I'm talking about the medallion with the skull and crossbones. Oh, my new one. Yeah, that's dope, isn't it? You got to talk to my guy, Santiago Romero. Steeler Val, my Eagles are playing like poop. I hope they can turn it around for the playoffs. Even though my Raiders can't make the playoffs, I hope they kick some donkey butt. Okay, well, Tommy, we will kick some donkey butt, and we will do it just for you. And more importantly, your Eagles, they're going to figure themselves out. The Eagles are going to figure themselves out. I was surprised they lost that game, but at the same time, the Eagles are going to figure themselves out. I just think that a lot of the league has figured them out, and they don't want to change up what they've been doing, and they need to. Wilt Duncan said, "Is Devontae Adams leaving?" I don't know if he's leaving or if the Jets are going to offer us so much for him that we make the deal finally. Because from what I've heard, the Jets have been offering us everything. And so what if we just raped the Jets for their draft picks this coming season and then combine those to jump up to number one or at the very least up five and get a quarterback? You know, I don't mind that so much. I realize people say, no, don't lose Devontae Adams. No. If you really look throughout time, all the Super Bowl winners, almost all of them had wide receivers that became famous after they won the Super Bowl, not before. These guys that are legends that are going to be Hall of Famers for sure, like Devontae Adams and Odell Beckham Jr., they don't win Super Bowls. They don't win Super Bowls. And if they do, it's because they have a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame running back, and they can just bring the whole package together. But as a rule, usually dynamic wide receivers don't take you there. It's running game and defense. And I hate to sound old and boring, but that's just true. If you have a great defense, you can keep the score close in most games. And if you have a great running game, you can move the chains so that when it's third down, it's always 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. When you have low 3rd and 5s, then you can throw the ball on short routes, get first downs, go back to your running game and your defense. That's the best teams. And I don't know how many you noticed that, but that's what we were slowly becoming with AP. He was slowly showing us, hey, this is how I coach. I let the defense play. I don't pull guys in and out, switch them all over. No, I put guys out there and I let them get a rhythm. And if I don't see rhythm, I look for it with other combinations of players. And then when I find that rhythm goes after it. Bob Standard said, what is our weakness on defense? I would say, honestly, our weakness on defense is at middle linebacker. We need more help there. Even though we like what we've gotten from Robert Spillane, even from Divine Diablo, we need at least one more linebacker. That's someone that can put his hand in the ground from time to time and be an extra edge rusher, but also be a guy that can run with tight ends, and is physical enough to bring guys down. And so you need a guy that can run a 5.4 40 flat, and then at like 245 pounds, so that when he then comes to the NFL, you can pump him up a little bit. Or do you go veteran linebacker? We'll see. But I still think it's linebacker. Devontae's leaving, or should we trade him? Wilts Duncan, to me, it's a trade. I don't let him leave. Once he has control of his contract, the fans aren't going to be happy with what we do or do not get back, because usually you get nothing back. I say you do it now if you're going to do it, especially when you're going to bring in a new coach. If you're going to bring in a new coach, the new coach may like that weapon, but it doesn't mean they're not going to base whether they win games or not on that. You know what I mean? I can't stress enough, guys. Having a dynamic wide receiver is exciting. It's fun. And they catch deep balls every once in a while and go for touchdowns. But that doesn't make a team win. And it doesn't make a team go to a Super Bowl. It's just fun to watch. It can be helpful. It makes your team exciting. You sell tickets. But I don't know for sure that, that's what's going to, what was that? It was like something flew in my mouth. Weird. Yeah. Tanamoku, I don't think AP is going to stay if we demote him back to position coach. Tanamoku, just like it happened with our last coordinator when he got the job, everyone thought he was going to be this hot commodity. Rich Bisaccia, he's going to get a head coaching job. And he didn't. He didn't even get offers, guys. He got offers to be a special teams coach, and that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? So I doubt very highly that AP is going to suddenly get head coach vibe from some owner, in the league and just give him a job. I don't see that. It's either going to be the Raiders or he probably just accepts his role and goes back to playing linebackers coach. I don't see that as a demotion, and I don't know why guys like him would. He was given an opportunity, but it was an emergency interim opportunity. That means you might get it or you might not. I don't think that's a reflection on AP at all, and I hope he sees it that way because that's not a reflection on him. I hope he'd stay. You know what I mean? That doesn't feel to me like they're downgrading him or, or disrespect him or anything. Give the guy the job he does because he does great. And then if another opportunity comes up at head coach because we fire someone and he wants the job, then you look at him again. You know what I mean? Now, if you do it then and you still don't give him the job, then if I'm him, I leave. But not over just once. Jim Vanderland, that's really well said. Bo Harder inherited McIdiot's offense. I think he might do better when he has all of the offseason to put some of his stamp on it. Jim, I agree with that. I honestly do. I don't like these complete refurbishings of coaching staffs when we fire the head coach. All of a sudden, you got to get rid of all the other trainers and coaches. And no, I don't know how many of you noticed it, but Deuce Gruden still works for the Raiders as a strength and conditioning coach. I was surprised by that, but I was also surprisingly pleased by that. You know what I mean? That tells me that if they know that a guy's good at his job and he's the right guy, then you're going to leave him there. You're not going to, say, "Oh, get out of here," because your dad had a scandal. You know what I mean? He's his own man. Let him do it. If you had the choice, if you had to choose from Wilson or Fields to play quarterback for us next season, which one would you choose and why? Okay. I would say Fields, not Wilson. And I would say Fields because you're getting, let's say we had a magic ball and we could tell for a second, Marcus, that they both are going to play well. Okay. Maybe so well that we give them a second contract. Like if we give them a 2-year deal the first time and then give them a 2-year deal again. I would go with Fields because I think that he would be able to bring good top-notch quarterback play longer than Russell Wilson will be able to. I think Russell Wilson's body is cheating him. I think that, breaking down basically where in his mind, in his spirit, he feels like the same Russ that was killing people, but his body's like, no, you ain't that Russ anymore. And so he can't say that or even act like that because then you can't have the possibility of that next check moving forward. And so until he retires, he has to always say, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, coach. And in reality, he's not ready to go. And it was, I could have told you that way back. I mean, way back when he was with the Broncos the first season, he started doing these workouts on the airplane and was doing stretches at press conferences. And I'm like, all he's doing is selling it, man. That's all he's doing. He's not even selling winning games anymore. He's just selling, hey, man, I'm going to give it my best go. But I would go with Fields. I think Fields can do one of the things that Russell Wilson does well, the deep ball. And if he can throw the deep ball, even somewhat like Russell Wilson, then I go with Fields because Fields give you legs still. Russell Wilson does not. Russell Wilson can move the chains if it's a couple yards, but that's it anymore. Whereas Fields can break one, go 60 yards, give you a touchdown. I'll take that. That was our defense, in my opinion, against the Chargers, leaving a short field and turnovers. John Leon, that does have a lot to do with it. It does. But you're telling me that never happened throughout history in all these games going back to 1960s? I mean, of course it had to have. You know what I mean? There were times when our defense was there. We had defensive teams that were way more dominant than this one that would do the exact same thing to an opponent. And we didn't put those kind of points. I see your argument is valid. I was just giving you a counter argument. Vernon Moshman, one more week and let's see how Mark Davis screws things up even more. He's wasted years with his decision making. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish he would just accept that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Can we franchise tag Jacobs and then trade him? Yeah, because when we did franchise tag him this year, we only did it once. So we still have the second one that we could do, and he would be pretty much stuck. I say yes, trade him for the Jets and a number one. Shade Street, I'm thinking that's smart because see, if you trade him to the Jets, you take their number one, maybe their number two and a 4 or something like that. Okay, well, package that with our one. In other words, 2 number 1 picks. Oh, you get the number 1 pick for sure. For sure. So if you're the type of scout or coach coming in that just thinks Caleb Williams is the man And for those of you, I know there are some people who watch my show that watch Caleb Williams and don't think he's, really all that. He's not going to be this Kobe Bryant, LeBron James of the NFL and just show up and dominate. I believe that. But I also believe that he's ratings, he's jersey sales. And then in year 2, year 3, you probably see the production and the ability start to come through. Alexa, resume. There it was. Jay, think about it for a minute. Alexa, play this from the beginning. I wouldn't feel bad if we traded Adam for a Hall of Picks because Myers is a #1 receiver himself. See, we were already like-minded there on that one, Marcus. Ramiro, cash flow Castro with one last shot to the balls. Russell Wilson. Wilson's always been a scrambling quarterback. It's who he is in this core. He's too old to do that now, but he doesn't have the mentality to be a pocket quarterback. Well said. We're going to leave it on that one, Doc Raider. Good night, Tommy. Good night, Val. Jim Vanderlyn, Doc Raider. Good night, guys. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran, every day and every night. Bless. All right, that's my show. Much love, and I'll see you again tomorrow night at 8. Raider Bear family page. Peace. Now that one wasn't any good. Hang on, that one wasn't any good. Okay, here we go. All right, what the hell happened there? Yeah, okay, stretch it out. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Rare family page out. I didn't like that one that much either.